there, this is Amanda with Granite State Home Educators and Seacoast Christian Home Educators. And I thought I'd just make a very informal video talking about some ideas for scheduling. We have had a huge influx of new families and we're so excited that you're here and we're trying to support you as best we can. So this is one way I thought that we could just give it a go, and hopefully this is helpful. So the first thing I wanted to do was talk about creating a schedule. So I separate creating the schedule for the week with activities with the schedule for each day, which is the schoolwork for each child, for each subject. So our schedule for the week looks like this, and people use all different kinds of things. We have this chalkboard I got probably at a craft store, and I sit on Mondays with the family and we go through the week. We write down anything outside the home that is happening, from drum lessons, visits with friends, anything that is going on, like doctor's appointments, things like that outside the home, not school related necessarily, goes on this board. This also helps the littles that I have to go through and think about the days of the week and the dates as well. So we keep our weekly schedule on a board that's visible all the time. Daily schedule. So there's lots of options for this. A lot of people do it online, totally online. They print out each day what they're each child is doing. I am not an online person, apparently. So I'm going to show you a couple of options. Any type of planner, really, you just need to find what works for you. This is a typical one from just Walmart, Staples, that has the month in squares, and then it has space for you to write each day. This one's an interesting one. It is a teacher plan book. You can get these again at Staples, online, Amazon obviously, but I like to touch them and flip through them to see what might work best for us. We found what works, which is great for now. But if you are close to the Seacoast, I would recommend going to Noggin Factory, because they actually have a bunch of these right there for you to flip through and look at, and then maybe kind of narrow down what you like and don't like, and then look for what is going to suit your needs. This one clearly is enormous. This one would be really great, particularly for little ones, so that you're talking about kind of time here, broken into days and different times during the day. I like that this one has no dates written at all on it, so there's no pressure there. You can just write in the date that you're using, and then there's nice big spaces here for you to write in all kinds of activities and play dates and all that good stuff you're doing with those little kids. So here's another option that's really large. And then, see, this is the one that we use the most, and I typically, again, get this at Staples, use a coupon, and this is the one that we like the best. And so I will actually give this to my son for him to work as independently as possible, and as most planners do, it has the full month available. So I use this part to put on the weekly appointments, in normal times, activities, classes, and things like that. But so this is just a regular calendar. This part is the part that he would read, and I really like this one because it's blank here at the top for the subject, so we can fill in all of the subjects that we are doing at the top, and then each day I can write down exactly what he is doing. So that's the way we handle it with our oldest, and I'm going to show you kind of a mock schedule here to show you which subjects we do when. But a couple more examples of some scheduling that you might come across as part of your curriculum. This one is from The Good and the Beautiful, and a lot of times it will come either with a checklist in it, but many times your curriculum will come with a schedule. Perhaps in the teacher's guide, this is one of our curriculum, but it tells you each day what to be doing. Even if your teacher's guide comes with the schedule that looks like this, I would highly recommend transferring it into a book that looks like this. We want to encourage them to be as independent as possible. So I would write in here math. He knows which math book he's using, but math pages 1 through 5, questions 1 through 10. I would write that specifically in the spot so that I can do other things while my oldest is getting his schoolwork done. So even if it comes with a teacher's guide and a plan, you still are going to want to make a schedule that either you can print out for the day or for the week, or that is hands-on, that your child can carry with them or look at, that's separate from what you have going on in your schedule. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this is just a brief look-see at how we schedule things sometimes in our homeschool. And the reason why I did it this way instead of with specifics, because you wouldn't be able to read it, and what we use is probably not what you're going to use. So I just wanted to make sure that we were including everybody and not writing exactly what we use. We can do help you in other ways with curriculum. But so this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and this is kind of just a glimpse on what we might do during the week. So if you look at Monday there, typically in the morning we have what I call morning time. For our family, because we're Christians, we will typically get together, pray, and kind of set the tone for the day. And that might look different for your family. You might have a book basket with really good books that they can flip through while they eat their breakfast. You might have a meditation time, deep breathing, positive affirmations. I mean, whatever it looks like, you want to set the tone for the day and tell them what the plan is. So I like to be able to point to the plan. So hence the weekly calendar and then the individual calendar. So we flip between devotion books. We do 3 every day, and our Who is Apologia curriculum. So we flip between those 2 every other day. So that's in blue. And then language arts. So this is Monday, language arts, which our language arts includes geography, all the language arts, and some art in it. So we do math as well. And then in the evening, we have family prayer time. And so that could be family meeting time for you to talk about, the day and expectations and go over, character study or whatever it is you're working with your kids on. So family prayer time, Dad actually leads that part, and we pray together. So that would be what Monday would look like. Tuesday, we flip to the Who Is curriculum. We do history, science, and then do lots of good reading. Our house is filled with books. We have an absolutely enormous in-home library. There are just good books everywhere. So the kids always have the option to read some living books. We have everything you could imagine, from chapter books to biographies and science, everything. So they're always allowed to read good books in downtime. So Wednesday, we go back to the devotion books, math, language arts, and family prayer time. Thursday, we flip back to the other curriculum for Who Is, math, history, science, and then reading good books. And then Friday, again, devotion time is the 3 books we use together, language arts, math, and family prayer time in the evening. So this is sort of a basic schedule of how I lay out the subjects. We don't do all subjects every day, and that is, I would say, pretty typical for homeschoolers. And it's hard for those of us, maybe you're coming from just a public school background, maybe you're a former public school teacher. It's hard to get out of that public school mindset of, the block schedule with all these subjects, back to back to back. That's typically not how homeschoolers schedule, and we want to encourage you that there is freedom in homeschooling. and it's a beautiful thing. So that would be an example of how I would break up the subjects for a week, particularly if you're a new homeschooler. I'm so excited for you. But you don't want to overschedule. Okay, so that means you don't want to pack too many things into a day. You can always add things, but having to drop things is kind of, I don't know, it doesn't feel good to have to drop things. So you can always add more in. Take your time getting into a routine and getting to know your children and their learning styles and that sort of thing. But don't overschedule, especially to begin with. Don't, hop in, this is the day and we're going to do all 6 subjects, 6 hours. That's not going to work, friends. So don't overschedule. Here's some things that you might want to include in your schedule for your daily routine. You're going to want to plug in maybe meals, quiet time. These are just some examples. Brain breaks, sensory diet. I have a child with sensory processing challenges, so we need to give him that time throughout the day to get his sensory needs met, or it's bad news at dinner time. So sensory diet would mean those things throughout the day that are safe. Sensory, he's a seeker, so things that will give him that input that he craves. And then outside time, time in nature, playtime. You could do Lego time, play dates with friends, educational games, exercise. And then this is a big one for me. Don't plan that schedule too far out. And the reason why I say that is I want to try to encourage you and set you up for success. And if you schedule too far out to begin with and things change, things don't work, you have to, drop some things, add some things. If you have done that schedule too far out, that daily, curriculum schedule, it's really going to be kind of devastating that you did all that work and it's not going to be the schedule you use. So I would really recommend only doing 1 week ahead of time. It's fine to have a plan and a curriculum plan for the whole time, the whole year, but you definitely don't want to plan too far ahead because you just don't want to set yourself up for failure. So a structure of the curriculum you're going to use, a loose structure, that's great, but don't schedule more than maybe a week. I mean, an absolute max a month ahead, because things happen, right? Children get sick, people visit, and you don't want to mess up your entire schedule because, one day didn't work out how you wanted. So those are some tips for scheduling ideas. Again, our schedule is pretty flexible. We school year-round. My kids are 13, 9, 7, and 5. And so we are always busy, but we're involved in lots of activities. But it's important for us to have a loose schedule that, again, is flexible in case, it's super nice out and we get last minute invited over to a pool. Well, we're going to go do that. So we're flexible in that way. And so we're eclectic homeschoolers here, and I piece together the curriculum that works for each child. And so I'm going to do another video just talking about special needs homeschooling. I have a 9-year-old who has pretty significant special needs, and from the beginning he's been homeschooled. All my kids have been homeschooled from the beginning, and we do quite a bit of therapies at home. We always have. And so we're going to do a special needs homeschooling video to try to give you some tips and ideas. But hopefully this gives you some ideas on how to schedule. We are so excited that you're here, and we're glad to help, and we just want to encourage you and welcome to the journey.